Morning, everybody. Might have been a slight hitch there. Isn't it interesting how things change when we least expect it to? Welcome to Angel Heart Radio. I'm Annette McCoy, and it is my great pleasure to be with you this morning. Joining me for the first time in 2022 is Merna, our resident kinesiologist. However, Marnie has lots and lots of strings to her bows. So I'm really looking forward to today. Before we start, Marnie, may I remind everybody that if you're watching this anywhere else but via Angel Heart Radio, please go to Angel Heart Radio Facebook page, because that's where you can make comments and ask questions and be a part of the show. And we love interaction.
Absolutely.
The other thing I would like to remind everyone about is that these shows should never replace your legal, medical, nor professional advice, nor your own sound judgment. Please, I hope you've got a cuppa like I have.
Yes, I have. Yes. Look, in my pretty flower cup.
So, Marnie, the topic today happens to be making and keeping resolutions. I thought a very interesting one, because I dare say lots of us have resolutions, and then sometimes we get really despondent if we feel that we're breaking them.
Yeah, it's a very topical subject. So Happy New Year, Annette. So this is our first time, as you said, in 2022. Yes. So a lot of us are writing that as 20 TUTU to make it a bit of fun, because there's been a lot of negative energy about the last couple of years. So let's add a bit of tutus to our excitement for 2022.
That's a really good idea.
A nice way to add to it.
Indeed.
Yeah. So yes, New Year's resolutions or resolutions of any kind can be overwhelming and fraught with some danger at times. So what you need to do is give yourself permission to go at your own speed. And I think that's one of the things you need to realise, is that we each do things at our own level and our own speed. And just because someone else is doing something faster doesn't mean we have to. We have to sit within our own higher self and give ourselves permission for things to change at the rate that our body is comfortable with.
That's a very good point. We so often judge ourselves, don't we, by other people, and no.
And there's that whole FOMO, fear of missing out, because everyone's doing it. Oh, I better do it as well. But you need to know that, yes, it might be something you're going to change and do, but you've got to do it gently enough that it doesn't put you into a stress reaction or an overwhelming stress situation. Because when you go into that really heavy-duty stress reaction or situation, you can't think creatively. So you may as well step out of the stress. We're starting to talk a lot about the stress circle, and step out of that stress and look in, and it will help you to go, okay, I need to take a breath. I need to step back. I need to work out my steps that I need to take in order to achieve my resolution that I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do it by stages.
Yes, I like that idea. Even with a resolution, there can be something like big, a focus, and yet to break it down into smaller parts so that we feel, oh yes, well, I've got this step, rather than I want to lose 10 kilos.
Well, look, I say to everyone that I'm helping with a weight management challenge, never lose those kilos, release them. Because if you lose them, what will happen is the universe will say, oh no, you've lost them, I'll find them for you again, and they'll give them back to you and add a 10% to it, just in case you're going to lose them again. So choose your words carefully with your resolutions. So, release your weight, or enjoy a comfortable weight project, target. All right. So I give myself a weight range that I allow myself to be comfortable in. It's not an exact weight. It's, between X and X. And when I'm in that weight range, I'm feeling comfortable. I'm feeling good about myself. When I start to go below, well, that's great. But if I start to go above, well, then I need to step back and go, okay, what am I doing that is allowing me to go past what I've given myself as an ideal weight?
Mm-hmm. I like that. I have a girlfriend who's constantly saying, oh, and because she's constantly thinking about her weight, I figure that it's sort of an ongoing thing. And the more we want something, and if that's where our focus is, we're putting pressure on ourselves. Whereas to relax, and I know myself, I love treats, and I think, okay,
absolutely,
enjoy it. There's no
bless
point
yourself.
in saying,
bless.
I shouldn't be having this. No. I'm enjoying this.
Yes. Or thank you for the opportunity to enjoy this treat. What you've got to remember: where thought goes, action. Where thought goes, action follows. Generally, or where action goes, thought follows. No, I think it's the thought and the action bit.
Yes.
But also too, that the act of eating, the act of metabolizing food, is a chemical and physical reaction that's going on in the body. All right, it's not isolated on its own. It's not just about what you're eating. The emotions go into the whole process. So if you're putting negative emotions into what you're putting in your body's a little bit unsure about what it needs to do with it. So it's more likely to pack it somewhere to deal with it later, rather than metabolizing the food. So we need to get back to blessing our food. Now, it's not a religious thing. It's an intention that we put out when we have a plate of food. The blessings to be able to eat that plate of food is enormous. So start going back to blessing the food that you're eating on that day, and know that the food you're eating is a direct choice that you've just made. So if you have chosen to eat the cream cake, you did it, not someone else. Someone else didn't put it in your mouth and chew it. You did. So you need to be able to freely and happily say, I am enjoying this piece of cream cake. You might understand that you shouldn't have it every day if you're on a weight management journey, but that's okay. Whilst you're there eating it, bless it, thank it, be grateful for the opportunity that you had to have it. You can always limit what you're having later in the day. All right, so call it an oops moment. If you're on so we're talking about resolution. So a lot of people around this time, they pick the beginning of a new year to make a resolution for the coming year. Okay, it's just a date that's handy. So we had the 1st of January, and then usually I think it's the 5th or 6th of February is the Chinese New Year. So people that have slipped in January often use Chinese New Year as the start date. All right, so it doesn't matter when your year is starting. But when you do it, you have to say, okay, well, this is my expectation and my goals moving forward. So I need to know that some of the steps I'm taking are taking me towards that goal, right? But what you mentioned before, you need to have, if I'm going to be a little bit rude, they call them big, hairy ass, big dreams and goals. And they're the ones that really blow the top of your head off because they're so huge. You go, oh, my God, how am I going to do this? But you need to have below that, you need to have steps in place or littler challenges in place that take you towards that end goal.
Yeah. Because
if you can actually tick off something, you have a sense of accomplishment. It's not as overwhelming. And if your intention is about, say it's about starting a new business and your dream is to make $100,000 a year, you're not always going to make that in the first year. So you need to be able to say, okay, well, my dream in the next 2 years is to get to this magic figure. What am I going to be comfortable with in the first year that will get me on that path to doing it? Now, you might hit an absolute rocket and just blast it, and that's fabulous. And you go, oh, this is so awesome. But if you're having to build your business or start your business, it's going to take steps. So you need to say, okay, well, first of all, you need a little bit of a residual somewhere. You need to get some money from someone and have it in the bank. So when you look at your bank account, you've got some money in there. Because if you look at it and it's all dead or it's negative, again, that straight away gives you that negative and that, oh my God, am I going to do it kind of feeling. So start with a pot. All right, just choose an amount and start with that pot and then gradually grow that pot. And do it gently. So I need to do marketing. Okay, well, can I do it myself, or do I know someone that can work with me that's within my range now? Right? You might want the biggest schmickest marketing expert over here. That's great when you've reached your big goal. But initially, you might need someone who's a bit like you and is on a journey and is willing to help you get to your steps. Because you're sharing the load. Energetically, you're uplifting that person because you're valuing their expertise as well. And don't ever do it for no money. It's always got to be for a reward or a, what you put in, you get out of it sort of thing. So it's got to have that energetic connection to abundance and blessings.
Very sage advice, Marnie.
We've all been there and done it, Annette.
Yeah, we learn from experience.
We do, yeah.
Big time.
Because if it's too big, it can be so overwhelming. It'll just blow your fufu valve. And then how do you move forward? So set your intentions, but make some of them pleasant intentions as well as stepping you out of your comfort zone. You can go out of your comfort zone. You just need to tell your body you're safe to do it. Because that feeling of safety is very much a part of how great things come to be, and you're not in that stress energy field, so that you'll see opportunities and things will go past, and that they'll make it easier for you. Did you make an intention? Like, not everyone makes an intention for the beginning of the year.
No, I didn't really.
No.
No, I tend to call them plans. And I've also learned that I might have some ideas. However, I'm trusting the universe big time at the moment, and knowing that as long as I'm wide-eyed and listening, I'm being given steps as to what I can be doing this year. And
But in your energy field, you might already say, well, the gates are opening. Maybe I'll get some travel in there or something like that. So you've kind of got it, but you're not formalizing it. You're just allowing it to happen.
Oh, there's a formalized trip at the end of the year. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, however, but generally in life, it's simply
go with the flow. Some people need to have a process that they're following. Some people need to know that they're on a track or they're on a journey. So, not everyone can just wing it.
No.
So some people do need a little bit of direction. Well, that direction and guidance initially comes from within, right? But we need to open within and take it out and look at it, because if we keep it a secret, how is the universe going to help us? So that's, if you can look at it as a New Year's resolution or intention, is a memo to the universe saying, hey guys, this is what I'd really like this year. All right. So it's not set in stone. It's not just black and white. It's filled with all these exciting opportunities, but this is kind of where I'm directing my energy to. So can you help me? Because if you close it off and you haven't asked angel guidance, they're not total mind readers. I mean, they can read your mind all the time, but if you haven't actually enlisted their advice or their assistance, how do you know when they're going to help you? So if you haven't opened that secret, how do you know when some aspect of it has turned up at your front door?
And I believe that we do need to ask. I mean, the angels are more than happy to help us. The universe
Absolutely.
is more than happy to help us. However, yes, you're right. If I'm keeping my thoughts within and not voicing them, then hey.
Yeah. And you don't have to voice them to everybody, but sometimes when we voice them out aloud, it's kind of making us a little bit accountable as well. All right. So you're putting it somewhere, you're actually writing it down in a book or in your diary or on a piece of paper or on your vision board. So I'm very much I love creating vision boards for people. I love seeing people's year ahead come to be on a beautiful picture. Does it always go to flow? No, but it's amazing how many steps within those pictures are accomplished when you look back. It's that hindsight thing. And again, if you haven't written it down, if you haven't identified what it is, how are you going to know? You're not going to know.
So I know you delight in vision boards. You have a personal ritual every New Year's Day. Do you look
I can show you mine. I've got it behind me. I'll try and get it into the camera's view. So I can't peek over, so I'll just have to do that and bring it back a little bit. So that's mine for this year. So the angels gifted me a black one again this year.
All
right.
So
I struggled the last time they asked me for black. I went, no, I don't want a black board. And I drew a card 3 times, and 3 times I got black. Whereas this year when I drew black, I went, certainly, I'd love to do a black vision board. What am I going to do? And with your vision, so my board is about me. Now, I wear many hats in my life, as you said, and everyone does, right? You're a mum, you're a partner, you're a family person. But if you're a business owner, you're also the business owner. So my vision board has to encapsulate all of me on it. So on it, it has family stuff. It has holidays on it. It has dreams and goals that aren't always connected to the business, because my business has to fit into my family and my caring life as well. Mm-hmm. Right. So make sure your goals and your dreams include you, not just what you want for other people or for your business. Mm-hmm. It has to include all of it. And I found a beautiful saying. It was on Facebook and I had it printed, and it's formed the heart of my vision board for this year. And it says, behind you are all your memories. Before you are all your dreams. Around you is all who love you, but within you is all you need. And I went, oh, I love that. It's so perfect, because we forget that we know what we need to do. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we're looking for other people's opinions or validation. But you've got to give it to you first, and then you either seek not so much approval, but your confirmation that you're sort of wanting something that people believe might be good. Now, if it's your family, they don't always want to be involved, or they're sometimes more cautious about business goals and dreams, right? Because they've got your best interest at heart. Now, that's too hard. You'll never do that kind of thing. So don't worry about that. Don't allow that to cloud your judgment on your board. They're looking after your family needs, not your business needs. Mm-hmm. Right. All right. So you need to just take that with not a grain of salt, but don't take it with the criticism. So to accept it it's coming from their perspective, not for you on your perspective.
How often, Marnie, do we hear, especially older parents my age, and they will say, oh, my daughter's doing too much. And yes. I remind them that, guess what? We did the same, and our parents were thinking the same about us. It's just, the times in our lives and what we fit into a day.
Yeah. We do use a bit of our gained wisdom, however, to show or share with people, whether they choose to accept it or not. I mean, that's the thing. You can give people advice, but they don't have to take it. Even when you've paid for advice, you don't have to take it. You've got to sit within yourself and listen. But sometimes you can look and see maybe something that you've tripped over yourself or gained knowledge about, and to be able to impart that wisdom. But it's not always, they don't need to listen. They've got to make their own choices. And I see it like the little ones have been kept very busy, and I think, I know at the end of the year they're going to be so tired. But then, hey, parents do what they can.
That's right. And I know my kids had one activity.
Yeah, these have about 10.
Maybe
but I also know that a child will, they will know then which one they enjoy the most. So, it's like going into the lolly shop and saying, okay, well, I'm actually going to try 6 lollies and find out which one of those is my favourite. Yeah. But, So look, do a vision board. I have a lot of YouTubes on my YouTube channel under Marnie P that shows you how to create a vision board if you haven't ever done one. I've made them for so long that I find it amazing that people haven't done them. Right. And I've started to do an online vision board, whereas I send someone because I do them on painted canvas. So I send them the coloured canvas and scissors and glue and a couple of magazines and instructions and all the little bits they get when they came to me, with an angel reading and all that kind of stuff, and then link them to my YouTube and on their way, because that way they're not, if there's a restriction or something happens and they can't come to the workshop, they've got everything they need.
What a a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
So that's being very creative using the post.
Yeah. The hardest thing about that, or the thing that's not as easy, is the weight of magazines is not as practical sometimes to post many. But I'll usually put an assortment of 3 or 4, and then sort of say to people, go and buy some, but go to your a lot of newsagents now have a bin that's like a $3 bin or a $2 bin, and it's magazines where they haven't sent back to the manufacturer, and they sell them out cheap. And you get some great magazines in there, and often they'll be your style of magazine as well. So I do suggest you do not buy Women's Day. Is it Women's Day? Women's Day is the weekly one, or New Idea. I find for inspiration and opportunities, they're not the best magazine. They're more sensationalism, or you might get a picture of a cat or a dog, but you won't get a lot of inspiring kind of words. You get more dramatic kind of words. And you don't want drama on your vision board. You want inspiration and a blueprint for a better future.
And there are so many magazines out there now, aren't there?
Yeah, there's some beautiful magazines around. Yeah, and the other one is libraries. A lot of libraries will get rid of old magazines because they can't store them forever. So go to your local library and just ask them, do they have a magazine like a throw-out thing where they no longer want it? And don't be worried about cutting up magazines. Think of it as recycling. You're recycling these magazines for a better future. And I get a lovely little gift in my letterbox all the time from a lovely lady called Annette McCoy, who sends me the most delightful books on travel and animals and stuff like that. And because I will read the totem animal for a person when they pick their colour, I read the angel heart colour reading and do the angel reading for that. But I'll also tell them what their totem animal is. And your magazines come in very handy for unusual totems.
Right. Well, that's nice to know. Recycling. I call myself the recycle queen. I absolutely love it. I think when we can save things from landfill.
We do it a different way. I mean, mine they get stuck on a board, but I keep all mine too. Like, that's the thing. You don't have to do a new board every year. So maybe say you've done a board, you're really happy with it, you like the colour in the background and things like that. And it's the next year, and you've got to do it again. And what am I going to do with this one? Why don't you adapt the one you've done? So I always put a date on mine. So put the year that you're doing your board. So if you've got 2021, find another word for 2022 and put it across the 2021. You're updating. Okay. I encourage my clients and my vision board attendees to have a power word for the year. All right, so sit and sit within yourself and think of a word that you'd love your year to be. It could be exciting, it could be amazing, it could be, fulfilling. It doesn't matter what the word is, but when the word comes to you, take it and write it down. All right, because it might seem at the time you think, oh, that's not a good one, but the angel gifted it to you, so it's a direct gift from the angels to you. All right, your guides are saying this is the word you need to incorporate into your energy field and your vocabulary. So, as I said, mine, I didn't object to the colour this year. I was happy to stick with black. I accepted that straight away. But when the power word came to me, I went, no, that's not it. I don't want that one, because it was complete. Complete. I mean, that's really... It's not the same as fabulous and awesome and all those kind of words. But, and then I picked it. I wanted to know what complete was from the essential oils. So where did complete come into within the 5 elements sort of thing? And it comes from fennel, of all things. Now, fennel is, I love the smell of fennel. So people know fennel, it's that licoricey kind of smell. I like the flavour. I love licorice. I like the flavour of fennel. I don't like eating it raw, but it's an unusual herb, isn't it? Like, it's not a herb you come across all the time. So when I realised that complete was my power word, and I sat with it and realised there is a lot of completion happening at the moment. So it's a derivative of complete. And for me, complete is actually a good focus for the year. So instead of my projects half done or my PhDs, I'm actually going to achieve them this year and wear my congratulation hat and tick them off. I found so many pictures of fennel in the magazines I was looking at.
Wow.
I mean, if you went just looking for them, you probably wouldn't find them, but they were turning up I've got them in cartoon form, I had them in real form, I had them in recipe form. I'm going, okay, right, I get it. So I put pictures of fennel on my vision board because that's a direct link to the memory of why it's on there.
Right. And see, when you said complete, what came to me for you is that you are a complete person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's what I mean. It'll be great.
Yes. What I would like to ask is, seeing that you were asked to do a black board again, did you think of going over last year's, or you're happy to keep last year's?
Well, the black was from a couple of years ago. So I chose not to redo that one. And I thought, well, I'll see how this one will turn out. So what I am going to do, because I'm decluttering, and I still have all of my vision boards from 2011, because when I'm doing workshops, I put them out to show people how they change and morph, and, you know, you can have them standing up or standing sideways, it doesn't matter. But I am going to get some really good pictures of them and put them into a poster form so that I can release the vision boards to where they need to go. But I've still got it. If I'm using them for reminders or for examples, I've still got them, but they're not in I don't have to have 7 boxes with them in. So, because I don't want them all over my wall. I use my current one. I have my current one out usually. The one I've just completed, I will leave out for a couple of months, because sometimes I just need to remind myself what I'd done and what I was changing to go on there.
Interesting times we have at the moment. So here we are. I think we have, I'm not quite sure what's happened to Marnie. We will, I'm sure, have her back again very shortly. Are you inspired? I would like to think that yes, you are, that you do want to now look at a vision board, and maybe not a vision board, maybe you're simply encouraged to make a couple of resolutions. What is it that you would like to achieve this year? Have you given yourself ideas? Or are you, like me, simply going with the flow? Sometimes I feel that, yes, goals are important. Sometimes they can cause stress. And when Marnie comes back, I might talk about that. Because goals are there for us to aspire to. And that's why we were talking about little steps, because we certainly want to feel encouraged. That's the whole idea, rather than thinking, oh my goodness, oh, I'm not achieving it. Oh, no, we want to be able to say, hey, I'm getting there. So here we go. Interesting. I'm trying to admit Marnie, and it's not working. Here she comes. How fantastic. There we are, Miss Marnie.
There we go. Sorry about that. My computer shut down.
That's quite all right. We go with the flow.
We do.
I was talking to our audience about how do we... Vision boards, well, goals are there as for encouragement. And I was saying that sometimes they can cause stress, and we don't want stress at all. The whole idea is to encourage ourselves.
Yeah. Think of them as a blueprint or a map to get you where you would like to travel. So when you want to go from somewhere to somewhere else, so I'll use, because I'm in Queensland, I'll use Queensland terminology. So Brisbane is the capital. Cairns is north of Brisbane, many, many thousands of kilometres, okay? So if I want to get to Cairns, if I don't have a plan or a map to get there and to know which way to turn right to even start, I possibly will miss it and not get there. Okay, so you do need to have some of idea of what you're wanting. So if life is going along really, really well, you might need to think about it too much because things are going in flow. But quite often we might have a challenge happening in our life and we need to make a change of some sort. So if things aren't quite what you're after, that's usually when you make intentions or you make resolutions. So what are you wanting to change? So what in your life is not working so well? Is it in your personal life? Is it your health and wellness? Is it your family connection? So what aspect of your life are you wanting change in? Or would you like change to occur in? And that will give you a start. So even if you break yourself down into like all your different hats that you might wear. So put your personal hat there. Put your partner or family hat there. Now, when you've got your personal hat, break that down again. So put it in health, put it in relationships, because sometimes we're looking for a partner. Put it in, so you've got work. Now, if work is self-employed, you have another arrow. So your work is working for self or working for others. So are you looking to change jobs? Are you getting satisfaction? So remember, everything we're doing in life is to give ourselves joy and happiness. Mm-hmm. So what within your life at the moment is not giving you joy and happiness? Is it in where you're living? Do you need to not cement, that's not the word, but is your living situation a little bit precarious at the moment? You know, is there a lot of uncertainty about what you're living? So what can you do about that? So if you're renting, are you able to secure a new lease? Is that lease in your highest good? You know, in Queensland at the moment, the accommodation is just nuts. So there's a lot of anxiety and fear around people about, am I going to be able to afford living in this place where I've lived for a long time? Because the landlords are, I mean, they're just securing higher rents, but it's very traumatic for the people who are renting and have been renting for a long time, because they might not have a lot of capacity to increase their outgoings to the same level as some of the landlords are doing. Mm-hmm. So what is happening in that situation that you need to get some assistance with? Because remember, why we're doing this is to give yourself some peace of mind, but also get some guidance.
Right.
And it's that identifying the challenge that helps you come up with a solution. But the solution could have several steps. But you have to start somewhere. Like go to Cairns, I need to drive out of my driveway. My immediate thing I need to know, do I turn left or right? If I've got no direction, if I've got no base plan in mind, how do I know that I'm going to get, like if I turn left, I won't end up anywhere. It's a dead-end street. So I need to know I have to turn right. I need to have my GPS activated in my head and my heart. So think of intentions and commitments as that. It's your internal GPS system. And that's powered by the universe and it's powered by your own energy field. So if it's overwhelming, it's draining your energy. So what can you do about it to pick your energy up to be able to think about it? Because if it's too, like the accommodation one, if we go back to that one, if the thought of having to pack, and honestly, I really get this. I connect so many levels on this one. But if the thought of having to pack is overwhelming, it's going to go in the too hard basket. So you're going to put your head in the sand and then all of a sudden it's going to come out and bite you. So you need to be able to go, okay, I can unpack this. How can I unpack this safely? Can I do it on a piece of paper where it's not as scary? Can I put someone else's name on the piece of paper so I think I'm thinking about someone else, but it's really my personal experience that I'm identifying it for. And your intentions in it, your intentions are not set in stone. They're not on a cement block that you're throwing in the river, never to retrieve again. They're a living, breathing work in progress.
Indeed.
You know, and if it goes a bit askew, well, it's an oops moment.
Yeah.
It's not a calamity. Turn calamities into oopses, because oopses don't give you that same sense of, oh my God, I've done it wrong. It's, oh, really? What have I done here? How can I change this? You know, you've got to make life easier for yourself. You can't live in that fear and anxiety all the time. And there are so many things out of our control. We can only really deal with some of the things that are within our control. And so much is out of our control, but our reaction and our response is in our control.
Yes, and I do like the word response. It's softer than reaction.
And it's that, you know, what can I do? Is there something I'm able to do?
That's true, because you're right. So often we have no control over the experience. However, we certainly have control over how we respond to it.
Yeah. And I'm all for not putting ourselves into fear and fight all the time, because we can only live in a certain stage of adrenal response. You know, the adrenal response is a physical manifestation in your health regime. It's not an airy-fairy thing. It's not a heebie-jeebie kind of thing. It's a real thing. It's a health calamity when you're in too much adrenal response all the time. You think of people that are living in a war situation and they're constantly in fear of the sound of the bombs, or they've got no shelter. When you look at their faces, the whites of their eyes are showing. All right. So when you can see a white circle around a pupil in someone's face, they are in a very precarious health situation, because they're living in that adrenal energy all the time, and it drains it. And like any energy level, adrenal energy only has a set level of a response in there. When you go through the 3 stages of adrenal response, the 3rd stage can be death, because your organs just shut down.
Wow.
So let's get back out of that a little bit. How can you breathe? Can you control what your environment is? Not always, but can you control how you can reset sometimes your energy field? Well, yes, you can. You can help yourself to cope and be resilient.
Right.
Even if it's as simple as thinking of a rainbow, or sometimes it's those intangible things that give us the lifelines as well. It's not always a tangible thing you can grip and grab.
Yes, I had reason to suggest to somebody yesterday to take themselves to a happy place.
Yeah.
And and we're very fortunate when we can call on our visualization skills, our imagination, and again, it's a choice. And sometimes it can be really hard to move out of a place of fear or depression. However, it's the little steps, isn't it, Marnie?
Yeah.
I know you've got that wonderful bag of 10 things that you say to people, you know, suggestions that, okay, what can I do at the moment that makes me feel happy?
Yeah. And you know, some people in their head, it's a quagmire. So it's very hard for them to step out of their head. But even just imagining themselves talking to a friend and helping the friend is you. But sometimes if you can detach yourself from being you and look in, you can, it's just that moment you get to breathe again. How can you rebreathe? How can you energize? How can you ground yourself? Like, grounding is huge. We need to feel the ground under our feet, you know. So how can you grip again? Because when you're in that adrenal response, your toes are gripping and you're ready to run. But you need to plant your feet. You need to get back to grounding. So where can you do that? Can you take your shoes and socks off and go outside and stand in some grass, regardless of how silly you might feel or seem? But it's just that whole thing. And when you're there, get your foot and rub it and really feel the floor. Take your shoes and socks off. Feel the floor underneath you, the tiles or the carpet. It doesn't matter. Allow yourself to be anchored in that spot. And while you're there, if you can imagine, there's a lovely, beautiful hammer beside you with a nice pole, and you can hammer that pole into the ground, and it anchors you. It makes you feel stable and secure. When you're stable and secure, you can think a little bit more clearly, or you can come up with a solution. Does it mean your whole solution is there? No, not always. Sometimes you just need to focus on one thing. So what's one thing? You know, sleep hygiene is so important to people that are having mental anguish all the time. You need time for your brain to just say, okay, enough. Let me rejuvenate. Let me recover some of my sanity so I can think clearly again tomorrow. So how can you make yourself safe to go to sleep?
Do you have suggestions for that?
Well, I look at prayer a lot. And again, it's not a religious prayer, but there was a very old prayer. And I'm sure we've spoken about it before on the show. And it was one that I can remember from childhood. And it was, there are 4 corners on my bed. There are 4 angels round them spread. Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, God bless this bed that I lay on. And it's kind of like saying, well, I've got people around me protecting me. So call on your guides or your angels or your inner self, or your great-grandma that passed that you were fond of, or someone that you know is on the other side that might be able to stand there and guard your energy field whilst you capture some sleep. And certainly not, don't have I mean, people use white noise, and that's probably not too bad, but don't have your computer on, don't have your phone ready to ring, you know, move the technology out of the way and set it as a routine. So how can you have a routine to go to bed? You know, can you wash your hands of the day with some nice soap? So releasing the negativity of the day and watch it go down the sink, you know, and wipe your hands on a clean towel, and that's part of your regime to go to bed. You know, we can do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So but what suits you, what suits me might not suit someone else.
Absolutely. Yeah. So once again, it's about, you know, personal choice, which is what you started the program with, which is very interesting. I like gratitude. I like to be able to lie there and go, oh, thank you for today. And the highlights of the day. And sometimes, Marnie, it might be basics like, well, thank you for this comfy bed. Thank you for...
Or thank you for a bed.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Getting right back to...
Because some people don't have security. I mean, when we have security, it's easy sometimes to... You're not being blasé, you're being practical about things, but sometimes people are in such a state or such a situation that they don't have a bed, or they don't have security, or they don't have food, they don't have something. So these people in that situation need to be able to go, okay, how do I find help? Like, is there help out there for someone like me? You know, are there shelters around? Or if I have to sleep in the open, can I find somewhere that may not be quite as open as in the middle of a park? You know, can I sleep beside a tree, or can I climb a tree? You know, find somewhere that's a little bit more secure, because again, it's your environment. Sometimes you're part of that environment, so you need to be able to say, okay, well, life isn't the best for me at the moment, so but I need to be able to think clearly enough that I can come up with some solutions, even though they might be overwhelming. Because you can imagine someone sleeping rough is sitting in that adrenal because they're on alert all the time. They're not able to release and let go because they have to listen to what's going on. And there's so many people in that situation at the moment. You know, it's and you can't help everyone. That's the thing. You can't change it for everybody. So what you have to do. Yeah, you'd love to be able to, and it's not always the easiest thing, but small steps. Remember, each person that you assist, even if it's with a smile and a kind word, is throwing that starfish into the ocean, because you're making a difference to that one person. So, you know, it's all it's all relevant to your life, and kindness and gratitude are two unique blessings of humanity.
That's exactly right. And we feel good when we are able to be kind to someone else. When yes, the little blessings and little acts of kindness go a long way, as Anaya always says.
Absolutely. So, you know, don't be fearful to think big and to dream big. That's fine. But just incorporate into your big dreams some smaller ones.
Well, very, very timely advice, Marnie. And what I love about Angel Heart Radio is that people, if they've listened and haven't been able to take it all in, they can go and watch again. If they've missed it, well, they haven't missed it because they can watch us on Angel Heart Radio.
Anytime, yeah.
Woohoo! Thank you.
That's all right.
Trust that you keep kicking those goals and having much fun amid your family and assisting other people.
And challenges. Just remember that everyone has challenges. Absolutely. Even people with perfect lives, it's not perfect. It can be challenged. And just to end the show, I just picked a shell essence, and it's one I haven't used much before. It's called Baylor Shell. And the Baylor Shell is, it's what it's saying. It's saying, how are we there yet? Do we need more help? Are we moving gradually or cautiously? So it's about saying that it's helping you to have a grounding feeling. All right. So it's just saying now that may the energy of the higher vibrations surround and protect me from negative creations. So it's kind of tapping into that positive, knowing that the universe has got some assistance and solutions for you. So remember to ask for help.
Indeed. And Marnie, if people would like to reach out to you, I have just placed the website, www.kinique.com.
Yep. Thank you.
And you're also on Facebook if people want to reach out there.
Yeah, I am. They can always they'll find me somewhere. That's the thing. So,
very
so
good.
Thank you. And if anyone needs help with a vision board, just give me a ring. I'll do an angel reading for them if they want one. So to give them a bit of inspiration if they're trying to think of a colour and they simply think, oh, well, I'm not going to come up with a colour, let me know. Just put it on the Facebook page. I'll touch base a few times on Angel Heart Radio. And if anyone wants a angel reading or wants to know their colour for the year, for their vision, for their blueprint for a better future, just put your name there and just put colour beside it, and I'll go in over the next few days and just have a look and see if there's any messages and respond accordingly. Okay.
A very kind gesture, Marnie.
That's all right.
All right. Onward and upward.
And upward. And remember, they're oops moments. They're not calamities.
That's right. I must admit, I've got much better at laughing at my oopses, and rather than swearing or carrying on. And it lightens us. So it's so
absolutely.
much better.
It's not as heavy an energy. We need to do the most we can to help ourselves.
Indeed. Thank you, Marnie, very, very much.
Thank you, love.
Thank you, everybody, for being with us today on Angel Heart Radio. May you be the best that you can be. And I look forward to being with you next week when Rosemary Butterworth joins me.
Lovely.
Bye for now.